didn't know where to look.
I know.
So, yeah, decided to make it easy.
Okay.
Just say exactly where you are, actually.
Okay, I'm off.
Okay, I'm just going to roll up. If you just do in the first question, please.
Okay, fantastic. So could you introduce yourself and your role here this evening?
Sure. Sanjay Rajagopalan, Professor of Medicine and Cardiology at the University Hospitals, Case Western Reserve School of Medicine in the United States.
Thank you. Okay. So you're on time. We're rolling.
Great. So then let's say them again, and then maybe you could say, and then tonight I have been presenting about the
Sure.
trial and
Okay, great. So you want me to repeat the same
Yes,
thing?
absolutely.
Okay, right, okay. I'm Sanjay Rajagopalan, Professor of Medicine. Go again. Sanjay Rajagopalan, Professor. What's wrong with my... Sanjay Rajagopalan, Professor of Medicine and Cardiology at University Hospitals, Case Western Reserve School of Medicine in Cleveland, Ohio. And I'm happy to be part of the present and future of diabetes care. And we're here today to talk about new developments in diabetes, particularly about the role of DPP-4 inhibitors in the treatment of the patient with acute coronary syndrome and high-risk diabetic heart disease.
Fantastic. That sounds great. And why was it that you accepted the invitation to present tonight?
Well, I'm always delighted to be talking about diabetes. Diabetes is a tremendous challenge and also a huge opportunity for us to make a difference. Many diabetics succumb to cardiovascular disease, and as a cardiologist, taking care of these patients with complex vascular problems and cardiac problems, directly a consequence of poorly.
Lovely. So I'm going to ask about the audience and the fact that most of them are from emerging markets countries. So maybe you could say most of the audience are from emerging markets regions, and it's particularly important for them to also, and then talk about why.
Sure. Should I say the other reason, something like that?
Most of the audience are
Right,
from
okay.
emerging markets.
So most of the audience today are actually from emerging markets where type 2 diabetes has taken on pandemic proportions. It's estimated that more than 300 million patients by 2045 are going to be type 2 diabetics in emerging markets in Asia. And it's of great importance that we recognize the magnitude of this problem and take appropriate steps to make sure that type 2 diabetics in this regions of the world do not succumb to cardiovascular disease.
And then it's particularly important for physicians in emerging markets regions to hear
Oh,
this
yeah.
information.
Okay.
That would be good.
Right. So the other reason to convene is to actually engage in discussions with physicians taking care of these problems, in particular primary care doctors, endocrinologists, and cardiologists, to get them up to speed on current information on new clinical trials and approaches to manage type 2 diabetes so that they can go back and make a difference in their home countries.
That's perfect. Thank you very much. And then could you tell me about some of the questions that you had from the audience? So it was great to have some interesting questions from the audience.
So the discussion today centered around the role of DPP-4 inhibitors and to contrast their usage with other drugs like SGLT2 inhibitors and GLP-1 agonists. And the latter two classes of drugs, in particular SGLT2 inhibitors, have made a huge difference in patients at risk for heart disease, in particular heart failure, whereas there is recent information from a trial presented today, as a matter of fact, at the EASD, a trial called Harmony that demonstrated cardiovascular benefit for albiglutide. There were two previous trials, Leader as well as Sustain, that showed a benefit. Excel was another trial that used exenatide that also showed marginal benefit in patients. So there's tremendous excitement about these drugs and the utility. These drugs are obviously expensive. Many physicians and patients in emerging markets can't prescribe these agents. So what do? And what is the role for cheaper drugs, in particular oral drugs like DPP-4 inhibitors, metformin, and their utility in the management of the type 2 diabetics? And the discussion centered around mechanisms of benefit, how we should be using these agents, and what role they might have in this very complicated market of many therapeutic options for the type 2 diabetic.
Brilliant, that's really interesting. Just one final question. question. If you could sum up Takeda's work at EASD this year, so the symposium that you were involved in yesterday and today, so if you could talk about Takeda.
Sure. Well, Takeda has done a fantastic job putting this together. As you know, we've been part of the Present Future Diabetes Conference for the last 4 or 5 years, where it's been a tremendous opportunity to bring together people from countries where diabetes is a problem, to hear about very personal vignettes on their problems managing the type 2 diabetes. You know, in a forum where you have physicians from Taiwan, Russia, the Middle East, China, and everybody, involved in the care of diabetics coming together in a forum. I think this is very unique, and the fact that Takeda is able to do this in this day and age is really remarkable. So kudos to them.
Excellent. Great. Then we'll make that work
Great.
really well.
Okay. Terrific.
Stay just there before